All right, so just going to run through this example 3 on page 372 in your book, which uses the perpendicular distance formula, but it's not the perpendicular distance that you are looking for. So the question is, find the equations of the two lines, so you're looking for the equations of two lines, which contain the point -5, -4, in which are at a distance of √17 from the point 1, 3. So just sketching what that would look like. So you've got two lines containing the point -5, -4. So there's that point. So there's two lines that go through that point, and they are a perpendicular distance of √17 from some point 1, 3. So point 1, 3 is here. So there's two different lines which go through this point, and they're both √17 away from this line. So just sketching that roughly. So let's say line there and line there, and from this point here, that's √17 units, and that distance there is √17 units. Okay, so there's your two lines roughly. All right, so there's -5, -4, and there's 1, 3. So you've two points in this question. Just be careful not to get them mixed up. So -5, -4 is the one on your two lines. 1, 3 is the point which is √17 units away from both of your lines. All right, so you're looking for the equation of these two lines. To get the equation of a line, you need a point on the line and you need the slope of the line. I have a point on both of these lines. It's -5, -4. It's common to both. I'm not given the slope of these two lines, and I'm also not given a second point on these lines. All right, so I can't calculate the slope of these and then just sub them into the formula. I do know that the perpendicular distance from 1, 3 to these lines, though, is √17. So if I use the perpendicular distance formula and put my answer equal to √17, then if I can write the equations of these lines in terms of m, in terms of my slope, so that the slope is the only unknown in the equation, I will be able to solve for the two slopes, the slope of this one and the slope of that one. All right, so my first step is going to be write the equation of these two lines in terms of m. So in terms of slope, so the slope is the only unknown in your equation when you come to sub it in to the perpendicular distance formula. So equation of a line formula is y minus y1 equals m on x minus x1. So x1, y1, and then m, as I say, is going to be an unknown here. We want this in terms of m. So y minus y1 is -4 is equal to m, my slope, on x minus -5. Let's just multiply it out. Y plus 4 is equal to m times x is mx. Minus -5 is plus 5, so it's m times 5 is 5m. I'm going to use this equation with my perpendicular distance formula. So let's write it in that standard form where everything's on one side equal to 0. So let's move everything to where the x already is. So that's 0 on the left-hand side. mx, I bring plus y over, it becomes minus y. I've got plus 5m already here. I bring 4 over and it becomes -4. So that's now in my standard form. So there's my ax, there's my by, and all of this is my c. All right, so let's write that in. So whatever's in front of the x, that's your a. So your a that you're going to sub into this formula is m. So remember, that's going to be the unknown I'm trying to solve for here. There's nothing in front of the y, so I'll put a 1 there. So b is equal to minus 1, because that was minus y. And then c is anything without a letter after it. It's the constants at the end. So 5m minus 4. So all of that is c. So 5m minus 4. All right. You're going to use, as I say, the perpendicular distance formula. So the perpendicular distance from this line, and we're going to get two values for m here, so these lines, to 1, 3 is equal to root 17. So 1, 3 is the point I'm going to use with this perpendicular distance formula. All right. So my perpendicular distance is equal to the absolute value of ax1 plus by1 plus c all over the square root of a squared plus b squared. So it's the absolute value of ax1. So a is m. x1, remember this time it's 1, 3 that I'm using because it's from this point to the lines, that's root 17. So m times 1 plus b is minus 1 times y1 is going to be 3 plus c then, so c is 5m minus 4. And that's over the square root of a squared plus b squared, so that is m squared plus b squared is minus 1 squared. And all of this is equal to root 17 because this is the distance from these lines to 1, 3. So these are equal to root 17. So the square root of 17 then is equal to, on the top here, I've got 1 times m and I've got a plus 5m. So 1 times m plus 5m is 6m. I've got minus 1 times 3, that's minus 3. And I've got a plus minus 4 here, that's minus 4. So I've got minus 3 minus 4, that is minus 7. That's the absolute value of that. Over m squared plus minus 1 squared is just plus 1. All right. So now I'm trying to solve for m here, so I want to get this m squared out from under the square root, and I've got a square root over here as well. So let's square both sides. Get rid of any square roots. In particular to get this one out from under the square root symbol. Now, left hand side, root 17 squared is just 17. The square root and the squared cancel each other out. To square a fraction, you square the top and bottom. So on the bottom, the square root of this squared, the square root sign is just going to cancel with the squared, and you'll be left with m squared plus 1. Just be careful with the top here. This is something that trips people up the whole time. So 6m minus 7 all to be squared. That's 6m minus 7 to be squared like this. Okay, so kind of in brackets. So when you square this out, 6m by 6m is 36m squared. Minus 7 squared is plus 49. But don't stop there. Don't forget, when you multiply this out, you'll end up with kind of the mixed term. So 6m times minus 7 is minus 42m, times 2 is minus 84m. So very easy when you're squaring that out to just get those two terms and leave that one out. All right, so it's 6m minus 7 times 6m minus 7. Just looking at it, I've got m squareds, I've got m's, I've got numbers, so you can probably see it's going to end up being a quadratic. Let's bring the bottom of this fraction over. So 17 times m squared is 17m squared. 17 times 1 is 17. equals 36m squared plus 49 minus 84m. Let's get everything over one side equal to 0. So 0 equals 36m squared minus 17m squared is 19m squared minus 84m. And bring the 17 over, becomes minus 17. 49 minus 17 is 32. So 19m squared minus 84m plus 32. If you want to do this using guide number, knock yourself out. But if I got this in a question or an exam, I would be going straight to the minus b formula to solve for m to get my two values of m. I'm going to just have a quick look at this solution. I do have it right. So it is m is equal to 4. So if you do this using the minus b formula, you are going to get m is equal to 4, m is equal to 8 over 19. So I'll assume you're happy enough using the minus b formula. There are the two answers you're going to get. Just be careful. Question says find the equations of the two lines. It doesn't say find the slopes of the two lines. So you do now have to get the equation of the two lines using these two slopes. If you want, you can go back to the equation of the line formula. Sub 4 in and sub minus 5 minus 4 in. But we've already done a bit of that down here. We've already subbed the point in. So I'm going to start with this line here and just sub 4 in for my slope. All right. If you go back to the original thing, don't forget minus 5 minus 4 is the point on the line. Okay, 1, 3 is off the line. It's the one that you're getting the perpendicular distance to. So you're going to get equation 1 by subbing 4 into this. So m is 4, so it's 4 times x minus 1 times y plus 5 times m. So m is 4 minus 4. That's 0 equals that. So 4 times x is 4x minus y. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 4 is 16. So that's plus 16, and that is equal to 0. So there's your first equation. To get the second one, sub this into the same. So equation 2. So m times x, so that's going to be 8 over 19 times x minus 1y plus 5 times m, so 5 times 8 over 19 minus 4. So 8 over 19x is just 8x over 19 minus 1y, this bit at the end then, so 5 multiplied by 8 over 19 is that, take away 4. So I'll just write it as an improper fraction. So minus 36 over 19. And then question just says find the equations of the two lines. So you could write it as 0 equals that. What I would say is in an exam, you're most likely to be asked to write it in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. So in standard form, but they usually tell you that a, b, and c should be integers. So they should be whole numbers. So quite common in an exam that you'll be multiplying across here to get rid of any fractions, that you want every number in your equation to be a whole number. So if I multiply across by 19 here, just to do that, because that's the most common thing you're asked for, 8x over 19 multiplied by 19 is 8x. Minus 1y multiplied by 19 is minus 19y. And minus 36 over 19 multiplied by 19 is minus 36. And that's equal to 0. And there's your two equations. All right.